certified real.
Hey, I'm a little excited.
You heard it here first. Certified real. Airborne.
You are now listening to Real Talk Podcast.
This is certified.
What's good, people? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Terrell. We got the whole crew here. We got X, Banks, Gills, Beasley, and today we have a special guest. We have Natalia. Natalia, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us about your podcast and everything.
Sure. My name's Natalia. I met some of these people through, I met X through school, and I met Martin through X, and then these people I met through the podcast themselves. But I have my own podcast called Queer Flicks. We shoot every 2 weeks. You can catch it on YouTube if you'd like to watch it. We just want to raise awareness about the queer community and representation in film and all that.
Definitely dope.
These people. What you mean these people?
I felt the same way. I felt the same exact way. And then I was gonna just interrupt her and say, "Nah, nigga, you met her through us. You met all of them through me. That's it. Move on."
It's true. I did meet all y'all through X.
Cut all of that out, Terrell. Right.
Hilarious. All right, but so today we're talking rom-coms. That's romantic comedies for the people that don't know the acronym. So yeah, guys, what's your favorite rom-coms? What's going on with that? What do you guys like about rom-coms?
I want to know Reggie's favorite rom-com.
Yo, so okay, because I was prepared for y'all. I was ready for y'all. I knew y'all thought I wasn't ready, but I'm ready. So boom, I didn't know this, but Coming to America is a rom-com. So there it is.
Yo, that's kind of interesting, man. Exactly. I just want to say that I'm mad that you came to that conclusion because I expected a lot worse.
Because I don't look at it as like, you know, the romance. It's more comedy to me. You know what I'm saying? But now that I think about it, I mean, I guess it is romance. But
there's actually a lot of films like that. Like it's a lot of films that's like they rom-coms, but you so heavy over on that side. You like
right.
All right.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah, Coming to America for me.
All right, okay.
I mean, I can name a couple more, but I'm gonna just keep it simple.
No, that's actually that's like GOAT status. That's like top tier.
What's up, Terrell? What's yours, Terrell?
I mean, I had a couple. You know, I guess. Why Did I Get Married? That's like one of my favorite ones.
I knew somebody was gonna go to the
Tyler.
I knew it. I knew somebody was gonna do it, man. I knew it.
I knew Coming to America was a rom-com, so that's on my list too. I guess a more recent one. Did you guys see the rom-com Someone Great on Netflix?
No.
Oh, and I've been meaning to watch that. Infield and
it's so good.
Genesis.
It's fire. Y'all need to check that out. So
it is.
Right now,
so
that's my favorite rom-com right now. So
really,
okay. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. What's up, Gills? What's yours?
It's tough because like you're trying to figure out like what constitutes rom-com or what constitutes just romantic drama. So I would say Love and Basketball would be more in the romantic drama side, is less calm than, you know, but if I had to choose something, it would be like something Love and Basketball. But if we're gonna play strictly like based off of that, I would say I don't know, About Last Night was good. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one. I actually like that one.
Yeah, that one's
that was a good one.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, right?
Yeah,
that was funny.
What about you, Natalia? What's up?
Wow. There's like so many rom-coms though.
Right.
I'm gonna do like currently Someone Great is one of like the top ones, like up there, because it's it's unexpectedly good. Like, and I feel like it's so relatable. That's why I really love it. And plus Gina Rodriguez also stars in it. So it's like, okay, well, you know, it's like a Hispanic woman representing for the Hispanic community. It's not just like a white female lead or anything like that. But that one's one of the tops.
Okay. All right.
What about you, Banks? What's up?
For me, it really falls more so on I'd say The Wood.
Like I knew You look like a wood ass nigga.
Hey,
Yo, he
it's
definitely
a
do,
classic
son.
though.
He
It's
definitely
a
do, son.
classic
He definitely
though.
do.
That's my joint. It's either that. It's either
Or
that.
brothers, right?
It's
Or
either
brothers?
no.
Oh, okay.
It's either
Okay.
that or the best man, because that story was just retarded.
Same
How
thing,
they didn't know son was talking about them in that book. Like I was just like, this man's an idiot. So yeah, that's me. One of the two.
Oh man.
Yo,
That's a series. That's a series right there. Those 3 movies.
Right. Right.
I'm with you on it. On that idea of like romantic drama, romantic comedies. I'm definitely not the biggest fan of romantic comedies. I kind of think they're like just pointless. But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with a Thin Line Between Love and Hate. I thought that movie was fire. So, and I feel like that's a little bit more comedy than drama, even though there's a lot of drama in it. But I feel like you can't have a rom-com without drama. Yeah. But if I had to choose one, it would definitely be a Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
It's a good one.
Okay, so question. This more for Beasley and X. Why aren't y'all fans of rom-coms? Why?
You want to go? You want me to?
Because obviously, because Beasley, I was ready to ask you because when I went and looked, and I was like, a lot of people don't consider these rom-coms, but they are. I was like, and I know he fucked with a lot of these movies. So what is it? Why is it just the idea of it?
For me? Or for
I'm saying for Beasley. Is it just the idea of it? Because there was a lot of movies on there that I knew you fuck with. And I'm like, I know he fuck with this movie.
He secretly love them.
I'm just not all into the whole, sappy shit, man. That's all it is.
Okay, I got you.
That's all. Really.
So you don't like the romance part, but you like the comedy part? Is that what it is?
I mean, so like, yeah, for me to like a rom-com, that junk gotta be real funny. So like, notable movie like current, like The Think Like a Man and the sequel, that was funny to me. So I'll watch that, but it's not like, yo, Think Like a Man's coming out, let's go see it in the theater. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
Not like that.
But I mean, like I said, if they funny, I'm with it. But go ahead.
I don't know. I think for me, it was a time like early 2000s and the 90s where most of the rom-coms had like this same story just over and over again. And not only was the story the same, it was like the same actors. So like you got Tay Diggs, you had Morris Chestnut, Gabrielle Union,
Hall of Fame.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not
masters.
And I'm not saying they like bad actors or nothing like that.
Nah.
But like it's just like there was a point in time like every black rom-com had Gabrielle Union in the movie at some point, whether she was a love interest
in some capacity,
a side piece, the best friend, whatever it was. Yeah. She was like in the film, right? And I just was not interested in the stories. Like it's the same story. It's like watching soaps. You know what I'm saying? Like soaps been on for 100 years, playing the same thing over and over again. So, and that's really the reason why.
Can I latch on to that point real quick? Because I got to think, we were looking at all these movies, and I'm thinking like, all right, we've seen a bunch of these movies, and we've seen a bunch of these people in the same films. So I was curious, like, who would be considered the queen/king of the black rom-coms between, like, the heavy hitters. You think like females. Yes, Gabrielle Union got the volume. She's in multiple, rom-coms, whatever. But you got somebody like Sanaa Lathan who has like a Brown Sugar under her belt, a Love and Basketball. Those are like hey,
Nia Long,
or like a Queen, even a Queen Latifah, Last Holiday. So who would you say? Let's start with the Queen. So who would you say would be like the Queen, depending on your criteria?
Nia Long.
Yeah, I'm going on that one.
Nia
Long gotta be it.
Why?
What?
Because she's versatile in every role,
and she bodies every role.
And she bodies everything. And when you think about and when you think about like your stereotypical quintessential 90s black actress, who you think about?
But we also you can't forget in Poetic Justice,
Regina King.
You can't forget
Regina King, and that's what I was just thinking of because I was about to talk about her versatility in role. She done went from the ratchet friend to the love interest to the friend that got mad kid. Like she jumped all the way around it. Like she was every part of that. So
that's a fact.
Still Neil.
Yeah, I
Yo,
gotta go
but
with y'all on
before
Nia
we
Long.
finish before we finish this, I just have to ask this. So
Wait,
Gills,
y'all didn't say. Hold on, but you didn't say the king. We didn't say the
oh yeah,
king.
that's right.
Hold on,
That's right.
let me
That's
get
right.
my point. Like with Gabrielle Union, though, I don't think it's close. I think she's in so many of these same films, like even the ones where she's not the main lead, she's in the film playing somebody's love interest or something like that. So I think she's just off her pure volume. Deliver Us from Evil, Good Deeds, Breaking All the Rules, Two Can Play That
Can Play That Game.
She's in all of them. Let's just accept
she's in
that.
all of them. She's in all of them. So she got to be the queen. She got to be the queen.
Yeah,
the king,
I
can
the
see
king
that
ain't close. And the king ain't close either. So I'm not.
It's Morris Chestnut. It has to be Morris Chestnut.
And it's not close. It's not
That's
close.
like literally all he does.
It's not close.
Y'all say it's Morris?
It has to be
close at all.
Even when he made that cameo in the end of Think Like a Man, when he was
he had to. They had to.
I was just like,
they had to. They had to, bro. Yo, think about it. Think about it, Reggie. If he's not the king, okay, name one movie that you've seen Morris Chestnut that wasn't a rom-com.
Boys in the Hood. but
At
no,
the beginning, before we knew.
I'm agreeing with y'all. Nah, I'm agreeing with y'all.
There's some people that could put up a fight.
No person I would put up there. I wouldn't even put him up there. I wouldn't even put him up there because I put him more of the rom dramas because he be whining and dining these hoes. He ain't really too funny like that.
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J's up there.
LL Cool J could be up there.
Jamie Foxx was up there too for a little minute also.
LL Cool J, what he got? Deliver Us from Evil.
But in comparison
Last Holiday.
You can't.
Last Holiday.
You can't. When
That's
you put him
ain't
against
it?
Morris Chestnut, you can't, bro.
Nah, you can't put him against Morris. No,
Morris
Chestnut got that.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Yeah, Tay Diggs would probably.
I was thinking Tay Diggs, but
I
he's
still
not
think
even
Shamar-
that close.
Hey, don't sleep on the light skinned king, Shamar. You know they gotta throw him in the movie.
That's true.
Yo, we said
throw him in the movie.
And Michael
Ealy.
And Michael Ealy.
Yeah, they gotta throw. They always throwing Shamar Moore. I
feel like Shamar Moore is the king of B movies.
Nah,
I'm sorry.
Nah, that's OD.
And getting away with shit because he light skinned. Because them braids in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, he should have got his ass beat.
No, he didn't get away with it though.
Somebody was like, "That's his hair." I was like, "Bro, there's no way."
No.
It's like there's no way possible that's his hair.
Wow. But my question is, since we just to talk real quick, about like who's the kings and the queens of this particular genre, right? Mm-hmm. Who's at the bottom of that genre? Like, what's the actress or the actor, the male?
Oh,
or the actor
we left out one though. We left out one king though.
Ooh.
Blair Underwood. Whenever it's a bad husband that need to be played.
No.
Whenever there's a bad husband that needs to be played.
Oh yeah, smack.
Yes.
He might be at the bottom because he's smacking everybody.
Everybody's
always abusive.
Him and the dude who played Charles in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, the bald head dude.
Yeah.
You know who I think is like at the bottom of that list? Paula Patton. Like I hate her.
Think so?
I hate her acting.
You think she's the bad
actress? She's just pretty.
she's
like
terrible.
she
Pretty,
can't
right,
act for shit.
I think she's
You
a
ain't-
terrible
you ain't-
actress, bro.
You ain't fuck with her in Deja Vu?
I didn't
Deja
fuck with
Vu
her
was
in
hot.
anything. I didn't mess with
Deja
her. I
Vu
didn't like
was a
her
hot
acting
movie.
anything.
Word.
And that's why I felt like
Anybody.
it was a perfect match on Jumping the Broom because Laz Lonzo can't act to me either.
Yeah, I just can't stand her acting. I think she's at the bottom of that.
I would probably say
That
he at the bottom
bad.
of the men.
Laz Alonso?
Yes, he probably at the bottom of the men. He always getting thrust into like in like who the hell believed he was in college and stomped the yard?
Hold on.
Who the hell?
chill.
I really
him,
thought
him and old buddy
cut it
that
out
played
right
Limo
now.
Soul
Yeah.
Food.
I
No,
really-
no.
Yo,
Well, hold on. I really thought he was
looked like he
Spanish
was in
in Fast
college,
and
bro.
Furious.
That
I
man
really
did
thought
not
he
look
was.
like he was.
I really thought he was Spanish in Fast and Furious.
Hey,
So,
I
like,
did too. No,
he killed
he's
that.
half
He
Spanish. He's
killed
part
that.
Spanish.
Okay,
Half
but he
Spanish.
but he
So
killed
good.
that.
Yeah, he
He
did.
killed
He
that.
did.
He killed that.
I
He
give him
killed
that. But as far as rom-coms, bro, no. And him and Stomp the Yard, no. That man did not look like a teenager. That man looked like he was 36. And he was like he probably was studying.
Alonso.
Terrible.
Like I had somebody else face in my head when you said Laz Alonso. So then when I searched it come up. It's mad funny though.
That's Ghost Twin, right? So Laz Alonso was at the bottom.
Laz Alonso was the bottom of romantic comedies. Like he can act, but for romantic comedies, he at the bottom.
Okay.
All right,
Natalia, what you think? What you got?
I honestly don't know.
Oh,
I'm not that like I've seen a couple of Black romantic comedies, but I'm not like in tune with like all the actors' names and everything like
Okay,
that. I would
okay.
say like at the top of my head, someone that I personally don't like in romantic comedies is Kevin Hart, but just because I don't like Kevin Hart, because he's good with comedy, but like throw him in a romantic comedy and I feel like it just like he just
Too
does
much.
too much.
Okay. So I want to
I've
do
heard
something real
that
quick.
so much.
Natalia.
I've heard that so much.
Natalia, I want to do something real quick. So
Yeah.
you said you because the thing I had with Reggie is I knew he fucked with a lot of these movies, but they're not. Everybody doesn't think of them as rom-coms. So just to
Right.
run down a few movies, you tell me if you've seen them or not.
Right.
Okay. So Just Right with Queen Latifah and Common.
Yeah.
You've seen that, okay?
Yeah.
All right. The Best Man.
No.
I'm skipping, jumping the broom. You ain't seen The Best Man? Come on now, that's the best one. That's one of the best rom-coms. Who Can Play That Game?
No, I don't think so.
Damn. Last Holiday?
Last Holiday, yeah. Queen Latifah.
All right. Deliver Us from Evil?
No.
Okay. All right. I see where you at. I had to see where your head was at, because that's the problem with a lot of people. Like they don't think they're romantic.
They're
comedies
romantic, yeah.
because they look at it from one aspect. So
All right, so moving on, I kind of had a question about like a little bit more of a serious question. You know what I'm saying? So there was a point in time where like romantic comedies was kind of carrying like Black cinema. You know what I'm saying? Like some of our more classic films was either, you know what I'm saying, like gangster movies like New Jack City or something like that, or romantic comedies, right? It's like, so we wasn't getting a lot of playing action films, you know, things like that. It was either comedy, romantic comedy, hood movies type stuff like that. So, and we already mentioned some of the greatest films and stuff like that. So my question to y'all is kind of like, do you think, romantic comedies is needed? Like, was that like a platform for us as creators that we can express, or was that something that we kind of was funneled into because we had no choice, because we wasn't getting no love in those other genres? Because pretty much, because I'm you look at the movies and there's like a lot of classics that from Brown Sugar, like Poetic Justice, She Gotta Have It, House Party had, a little romance comedy to it, Love Jones, Our Family Wedding, Why Did I Get Married? Tyler Perry made a little life, a whole catalog of those type of films. So I'm just saying, like, how do y'all feel about that aspect of it?
I think regardless of who's making it, regardless of like pretty much like most genres, they're gonna try to squeeze in a love triangle, or a love interest, or something that could potentially happen, in between two characters anyway. So when you have this essentially just specifically just cater to the whole plot based on that, I mean, that's gonna work regardless whether it's a Black rom-com, whether it's a white rom-com, or whoever's doing it, whether it's Bollywood, because I think that's something where everybody can resonate with. Everybody wants to have that fantasy of falling in love. Like, so maybe you're not watching maybe you're not watching the Disney, princess stuff, or stuff that's on Disney Channel, and now you're an adult, you want to watch something, you still want to have that fairy tale kind of feeling. They're going to watch something like a rom-com, something light, something easy that everybody could watch. But I think, I think especially from a filmmaker standpoint, like you can actually make something that's low budget, but that can still resonate with people and still get a drawing. So I think it's always going to be there. I don't think it's ever leaving.
Yo, I 100% agree with you on that, because like Lifetime literally makes a life out of romantic comedies.
The Hallmark Channel. They
just all they show is romantic comedy. So I definitely agree with that aspect. What y'all got to?
I think it's like about selling the fantasy of love. Like a lot of people do want to relate to that fantasy, like to meet your, like, I know a lot of women are like, oh my God, I want to meet my perfect match or whatever. And they fantasize about the idea of meeting their perfect match. And sometimes reality, like most of the time, reality is not like that, but you're not watching it for the reality in it. You're watching it for the cliches and like the crazy moments where they're like professing their love to each other in like the most ridiculous ways that you could think of. It's all about entertainment and like the artistry of creating that.
Word. I like the way you put that because that's basically what it is. It's like everyone uses rom-coms as like their escape or whatever it may be. It's kind of like even with like wrestling. Wrestling's the same thing. Everybody knows it's fake, but
Yep.
people
But
still
everybody
watch
loves it.
Chill,
Yeah.
chill.
Watch it.
Wrestling's not fake. It's staged.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's rehearsed.
Oh
It's
yeah,
an art.
yeah, that shit
Because
hurts.
they rehearse it.
Yeah.
For all our
Practice
12
it
and
all the
under
time.
fans.
Yeah. I'm sorry that he said that, guys. I apologize.
Yeah, to all my 12 and under fans, I apologize.
But,
It ain't.
yo, Terrell, on the edit, bleep that fake word out. Bleep that out. Like just put a bleep.
Like he
And
said,
then blur his mouth out too.
Word. Put
Blur
just
his
put the
mouth.
logo over his face.
Yeah, he violated OD. OD just
Facts. You gonna upset a young listener.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
And it was so
feelings,
smooth.
man.
It was like so smooth out his mouth. Like he
Word.
like we all know wrestling's fake.
Easy transition.
Yo,
Go ahead and knock this out the way.
Like
This is bullshit.
Right. But no, I do agree with both of y'all was saying, cause especially Gills, because he was saying like that fantasy, like you went from watching Disney films and then watching romantic comedies as an adult, and then Natalia saying that like selling love.
Love sells.
Yeah, definitely
Love
agree.
sells.
Everybody has a love story though. Like if you think about like your select group of friends, there's maybe one friend who like legitimately didn't fall in love, but everybody that had like a love interest, everybody did some shit out of a rom-com. Like maybe not exactly how they did it, but I think when it relates to like it carrying the Black notion, like how it gets when you get tired of seeing something that doesn't represent you. Like I wouldn't do that shit. You're gonna go make your own version. So I felt like with the because if you watch a white rom-com like Knocked Up, and then you go watch, I think if you put Black characters in Knocked Up, there's a drastically like the movie changes drastically.
Half that movie doesn't even happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like you have to have that I think it's necessary, which is I think what you was like kind of getting to. I think it's necessary because the Black love story is way different from any other love story. And just like a Bollywood love story would be different from our love story. Like it's so you need that representation.
What's up, Terrell? You wanted to answer that?
I agree with everyone else. I don't have much to say because y'all covered everything, but I mean, I would say that, yeah, people target, they try to target the entire audience. So you have people that want to come and see romance. You have people that want to laugh. You might have that couple going on a date. You might have one dude that don't really like comedies, but I mean, he doesn't really like romance movies, and the chick does. So I guess that's something that could bring them together, and they're both satisfied or whatever, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything to say.
Because I feel like now we don't. I feel like there was an era like we talked about. There was an era where rom-coms was kind of like flooding the market, like back to back. We was just getting rom-coms, but I feel like we're not really seeing that now, and it could be because of like other films like the superhero movies is like dominating the theaters and stuff like that. But we do get a little speck of rom-coms now. Do y'all think like
Kevin
to
Hart
get? Yeah, that's true too. But like because a lot of the actors that we talked about at the beginning, the Morris Chestnuts, the Tay J, all these dudes still act. Like these actors and actresses still act. So, why do y'all think that it's dying? Because like you said, love sells. Everybody wants that fantasy. But why do you think we're kind of getting away from Black rom-coms in general?
I think we're just like I said, touching on rom-coms, like you see something and it doesn't represent you, where Black people are finally starting to get into those other genres and starting to represent ourselves. So right now, I feel like it's like we already know we can do this. We want to do this right now, blow that up, and maybe we'll spin the block and pick this back up later. I feel like it probably falls in with that.
I don't think it's that complex. I like the idea I would like to think that's the idea, but I don't think it's that complex. I think right now we just at a point where love don't sell as much as it used to. It's sex sells. You know what I'm saying? If y'all ain't showing skin or you ain't blowing shit up, selling drugs, doing stuff like that, I don't want to see it. I mean, that's most people. That's not me. I know y'all think I don't like rom-coms, period, but you know what I'm saying? But that's what it like. If you think about like the last 10 hot movies you saw, could your 15-year-old sit down and watch it with you? Like, probably not, because you might see some crazy in that movie. Somebody's getting high, somebody's getting drunk, somebody's fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? All these things are happening now. It's not that pure love that you had. Like, I think of Brown Sugar. That was like,
I'm not watching with my kids either. I'm not watching Brown Sugar.
Some of these,
I understand.
But
I understand. But the message in that movie was a lot more pure than it is today.
Yeah. All right, but to challenge that in a way, when rom-coms was popular, so was action movies. So sex still always sold. So like, what's the difference now that it's not as popular as it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Because action has always been like, there's always been a fight over action stars. There's always been a fight over let's blow something up. Like, that's always been American film. You know what I'm saying? So like, what's the difference now that we don't see as many rom-coms like we did?
To agree with Reggie, like to Reggie's point, I feel like it's more so pop culture. What is pop? Everything revolves around pop culture. So what is pop culture telling you is hot right now? In the 90s, late 90s, what was all that was coming out? Love songs. That's when R&B was at its all-time height. That's when pop music was at its all-time height. NSYNC, Backstreet. That's when everybody was killing rom-coms. Not Another Teen Movie was literally dedicated to white rom-com. So it's like I feel like it's more so they just focusing right now. Everything that's hinging on pop culture is comic books, horror, race. Race is probably at the top right now, and like anything else. And then you got to think about the music art. Like, everybody's digesting. All your favorite artists are telling you fuck hoes, get money. So why would I make a movie about love?
I say my favorite artist always said that.
I feel like it's not that we're not making them anymore. I feel like it's just evolved into something that, like, the idea of love in Hollywood and like the idea that Hollywood portrays love has changed. It's to a more realistic approach instead of just being the cliche, like, standard rom-com.
Running through the airport. Just to get
the airport scene. There's always an airport scene in a rom-com every single time.
So the fairy tale factor is gone.
Yeah, I think it's the fairy tale factor that's dying down because people want like something that's more relatable, more, based in real life, like something that you're like, oh, well, I could see that happening. Like, I could see myself doing that or something like that. I don't think it's just that we're not making rom-com, because like The Photograph came out not too long ago, and that's 100% a rom-com. But it's not the same as the 90s rom-coms where everything was like to a certain structure. It was like, I did not expect anything from that movie, like nothing. I didn't know what was gonna happen, like, but I enjoyed it. It was a really good movie. But I feel like it's the evolution of like how Banks was talking about how pop culture is changing and evolving, and that also has a factor to it.
I think part of it is, art imitates life, and I think for some reason, a lot of people are making love take a back seat in real life, and so you're seeing it less in the movies for real. I don't have any stats or statistics, anything like that to prove that point. That's just how I feel. But at the same time, like when you do have one of those movies that like hits hard, that really brings all those elements of, the drama, the romance, the comedy together, those are the ones that, shoot out off the box office out of nowhere with nobody expected, because people still want to see those films. They just have to be done appropriately. Like right now, I think a lot of the movies, a lot of the style that we used to have, like Natalia was saying, those tropes that we used to have, running through the airport, standing outside at the door, boombox, whatever.
Boombox.
You can't really do that anymore because times are changing. Social media, you're gonna have to tell new stories. You can't tell the same old stories that you did in the 90s. Yeah, we used to do corny shit. We used to do corny shit. Now you gotta jazz it up. Maybe you gotta throw a social media scene in there, like, oh, maybe I met her on Tinder or whatever. You gotta throw different kind of curveballs in there just to make.
They've made that movie like 8 times and it never hits. The dating website movies.
Oh yeah,
that shit never hits.
Yo,
I feel like
it's the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like we're missing something about it. Because I agree with y'all points and I see how like it hits home or whatever, but I feel like every genre changes, right? Like horror changes with the times, action change with the time, like everything changes with the time, but there are certain genres that just kind of doesn't make it or make the cut for whatever reason. And rom-com is definitely one of those genres, but it was just 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we was getting hit with a decent amount of rom-coms, like with Tyler Perry, with Think Like a Man and stuff. And then now all of a sudden, it's just like a halt. Like whoever's up top was like, yo, we're not making this no more. Mm-hmm. I don't know why we're not making this no more, but we're not doing this no more. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'll show my age a little bit. Because you said it right there, X. You said 10 years ago, we was still getting hit with rom-coms, right? What came out about 10 years ago or really got popping about 10 years ago?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it is the comic book jump off that like really.
That, and let's not forget, social media and reality television.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like reality TV has been around longer than just 10 years ago. Though.
Not the way that not what I'm talking. I'm talking about your Bad Girls Club, your Bad Girls Club, your Flavor of Love, that type of stuff.
I do agree that the fairy tale aspect is kind of getting sucked out of it. Yeah, I do agree with that. In other genres, we always have this talk, especially on this show, about representation. Like the representation is not there. The representation is not there. There's a lot of rom-coms that I feel like they kind of do always get the representation, at least in a positive light. Like, right, like we haven't seen many Black rom-coms where they don't have some sort of decent representation. Like they're doctors, lawyers, they're not crackheads falling in love. You know what I'm saying? Like something we could see on like Snowfall or something like that. You know what I mean? So how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all agree with that? Can y'all think of some that don't have that representation, that didn't represent in the proper way?
I think what you have to start doing now in order to reintroduce rom-coms like back to the forefront is you have to throw. You see, you have rom, you have com, you have to throw another genre on top of that in order to introduce it, to jazz it up. So you might have a rom-com within a horror, like a horror rom-com, whatever. That's something that you're not going to see. Or you might have you might not. But at the same time, Warm Bodies was like a rom-com, and it's about zombies.
That was years ago though.
But still, it would still play today. Is what I'm saying. You can still get away with stuff like that.
No, you're right.
My point. Let me just say that.
You're right, because they did that movie Monsters. What's that movie Monsters, where he was going across a meteorite hit Earth and it turned all the bugs and stuff into these crazy creatures, and he got disconnected from his girl, so he went on top of the surface and traveled like 80-90 miles with the monsters to Loving Monsters. That's what it's called. So yeah, they do have rom-coms here and there, but it wasn't a Black rom-com.
But whatever.
But you're right.
You can even they're still trying to like throw it into films like that have no business having it.
When I'm talking representation, I'm always talking about like how they present the characters, right? Like we said before, like we never they could do a romantic comedy about, like for example, this is a terrible example, but it's a good example. Like Carmen with Beyonce, like how they was on the run from the law, or you got Queen and Slim. Even though they was on the run from the law, they still had a positive representation of themselves, right? Like she was a lawyer. He was, a straightforward dude, went to work, praised God, like he was straightforward. Like they wasn't criminals in a love story. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we usually don't see that. Like, what's the Queen Latifah one with LL? Wasn't she like, a big reporter, or she was like a reporter or a writer or something like that. Like it's always a positive job, something positive. Like, they're not like strippers falling in love. You know what I'm saying? Or something that's more negative on it. Or like for example, we'll watch a horror movie, and the black guy dies first. You know what I'm saying? Or the black guy's the one who got to fight the monster to show how big the monster is. But then you watch these rom-coms and they're always like executives. Like what is it? Mo Money? Is it Mo Money? Where like she was,
Two can play that game.
Yeah, like they're big people. Like they're always in the office. Morris Chestnut is always in the office talking about like I'm in love. Like he's always, a lawyer, somebody important. You know what I'm saying? And that's the representation that we a lot of times we always see in rom-coms, especially black rom-coms. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of like what I wanted to touch on, because we always touch on representation in every topic that we talk about, and we always have a negative aspect of it to talk about it. So I just wanted to point out the most positive thing about it.
I mean, it goes back to the previous point before. You're playing into that fantasy. Everyone has their shit together. Job in the office, big house, good job, good credit. Everyone, ups and downs in a relationship. It works out in the end. Like I feel like that's just the image for that genre. I think that's the goal for it. So
you're saying it has to have that that positive representation of them for it to work, is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah. Here and there, you'll get like what's a good example? Forgot that Tyler Perry movie where the dude was, he wasn't making that much money, and but eventually he did end up getting the chick.
Acrimony. Yeah, you're talking about Acrimony.
Yeah. So you'll have a combination of different types of characters, but again, you're always going to see that one character, that's a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, having issues with his relationship. So
I feel like we need to have a show just on Tyler Perry.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll lead that one.
That ain't gonna be no.
Are we gonna? Is it gonna be legit ain't gonna be no constructive, or are we gonna roast them?
Oh no,
it's gonna be half.
They're gonna lead.
That's 2 hours at least.
Listen, we're not gonna talk about this man's wig the whole show.
No. We're not
gonna.
know
that's.
It needs a segment though. It needs a segment.
A segment. You need
about
to
10 minutes. About 10 minutes. About 10 minutes.
At least 10 minutes.
At least 10 minutes.
But I'm gonna talk for at least 7 of it.
Yo, this shit.
As far as like the representation, I think a lot of it is gonna be like the how can you get all these characters right in the same setting, at the same time. So a lot of the more successful, rom-coms are gonna have that ensemble cast of people that you recognize from different movies. So you think of like a Man, where yes, you have one that's a struggling chef that's trying to be something like, and then you got his friend's a lawyer, and then his friend of a friend is, does this and that, and then they meet their girls. Like the ensemble cast is where it's at, like as far as if you want to make the representation like match as far as the movie goes. So I think that's a big part of it. How are you going to get everybody in the same setting?
That makes sense.
Sidebar. I also, y'all ever notice that like when they do the black rom-coms, I don't know how many successful people y'all know, like really successful, like the top of their game, Fortune 500 companies. Normally in the black rom-coms, it's like the whole group of friends is like that. Like everybody got a good job. Like everybody's an executive, but then if you look over to a lot of white romantic comedies, most of the time they're the star of the movie is like a slacker, or he has like a job that we don't see as like, it's maybe not a dead end job, but it ain't that successful. Like it's not too glamorous. So I like that contrast of it. And why do y'all think that contrast is so hard?
I think
like a hard difference.
Go ahead.
I think it goes into a system. If we're gonna go back to season 1, and we're talking about just how we've been conditioned over the years. We look at things differently. So I think that in overall our movies, black movies, most of the time, I would say more than others, black people are not always projected in the most positive light. So I feel like maybe this is that one genre where we as black people are like, we're going to protect this genre and we're going to put ourselves in the most positive light and keep it in the most positive light so that we have something to contrast all the goddamn drug movies and gangster movies and killing movies and all the other movies that we have. I think maybe that's what it is. I mean, I don't know, but that's just my idea.
Okay.
I think it's a part of the fairy tale aspect that we always touch on. Like, I mean, I think it's a little bit more realistic because you are the company that you keep, right? So, my friends is a bunch of filmmakers, got other friends that their group of friends is a bunch of rappers or, whatever the case is, you just keep the company that you keep. So if I'm, the CEO of a company, more than likely my friends are going to be in that ballpark. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense. And I like the idea. Like, I think that's why I wanted to bring it up because that was something that I did notice, like sitting here watching the friends. It's always a solid group of friends. They always got their thing going, got it going on, what they need and stuff like that. And if not, they're always pointing it out, like, yo, bro, you need to, get your life together. Like, you shouldn't be doing. It's always that, it's always that conversation of a positive outlook. So that's why I wanted to bring it out because there's so many other topics that we talk about that we didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a sleeper that's in rom-coms. That's kind
I
of
feel
important.
like it's also like a tool that most people that write romantic comedies use. It's like, okay, so we have these two established characters that are, they have everything they need in their life. They're at their peak, but there's something missing, which is the love aspect of it and the romance. So like they already have everything they ever wanted, or like they're already working on it. They have people around them that will help them and whatnot. And what they need is love. So that's, I guess, a tool in selling the whole romantic comedy.
So it supplies that need for the plot of the movie.
Right.
Okay. All right. I didn't even think of that. That's good.
So just, real quick to close it up, before we do like final thoughts or something, I do have a question that I think is interesting, right? Because I feel like there's another side to rom-coms, right? So we have that, we have that one movie where there's a couple that's in love, and then they have another character that's in love with one of the other characters that kind of like trying to break up that. And I feel like that's a level of rom-com in a way too. I think the most famous one is Idris Elba and Beyonce.
Oh my God! You mean that?
Obsessed?
Yeah, Obsessed. You know what I'm saying? So like they have this, they have everything. Like they have everything that they could ever want. They got a baby. They're married. They're on top of their careers or whatever the case may be. And then you just have this one other element that comes into the picture and try to like ruin that. And they're kind of, like, and that other element's kind of like in love with this character, and they have this romance, like, and I feel like that's kind of a romance that could be an element that we could bring back that I think would be a little bit more interesting than just a straight romantic comedy. What's your thoughts on that?
Another thing, like yes, I agree with you. Like as far as like I would like to see. I mean, I thought Obsessed was a glorified Lifetime movie. To be honest with you, it just had big name actors in it. It just had big name actors in it. So I'm not too hyped to see more stuff like that. But I do think like nowadays the people want to see more like LGBT, like as far as like stories that revolve around that, because that's something that is not put in the forefront. Like you can find some shit on Netflix, but you're not going to see like this the main things in theaters. I think there's a lot of stories to be made based on that. As far as if we're talking about representation, that's another thing too.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I do agree. I think we
like
are.
You can do a black, yeah.
I do agree that we think that we definitely are in a place where we can expand out.
Yeah.
Now, is there going to be an audience for that? Like, is people going to be, willing to go out and see romantic comedies and then different aspects of romantic comedies, like the one I mentioned, like the one Gills mentioned? I don't know, but I do think if we do it, it's a time to do it, right? Like right now, it's a time to do it where everybody's experimenting with all kinds of different films. So you could just make a film, put it on YouTube.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching Real Talk Podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. And we out.